Okay, a very good afternoon to you, Angel. Welcome to the live class. So hereby I am sharing the screen right now. I hope it will be visible shortly. Yes, I hope the screen is visible to you. Now I will be sharing with you the first important material, and then side by side I will be sharing the other materials also, and likewise I will be discussing those contents also. So here goes my first one. I hope it will be visible shortly. Just have some patience. Yes, I hope it is visible. And can you see it? Is the screen visible to you? Mother's Day theme, is it visible to
Yes.
you? It is visible. Can you see?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So I will be dealing with this. Now basically we know that J.B. Presley has written this particular drama, The Mother's Day, and it is written in a very humorous way that actually portrays the status of a mother in the family. Okay, just wait, I guess there is someone on the line. Okay. Yes, very good afternoon to both of you, Annie and Trisha. Yes,
Good
very
afternoon, sir.
yes, good afternoon. Okay, I'm dealing with Mother's Day. I hope the screen is visible to both of you. So, yes.
Yes,
So,
sir.
okay, so I was just saying that the play Mother's Day actually portrays the status of a mother in the family, or the importance of a mother in a family. But remember, the dramatist has written this not in a very serious tone. The dramatist has written it in a very humorous manner, or rather to say in a very comical manner. But having said that, the dramatist successfully brings out the pitiable condition or the plight of the mother very realistically in the play, because the dialogues that we get to find at the very beginning also, even the dialogues that are in the middle of the drama and towards the end of the drama, we find those dialogues are very realistic, very realistic. And remember, this drama centers around Mrs. Annie Pearson. Mrs. Annie Pearson, she is actually the main character. Okay, and she is not treated well by her husband and children. We all know it very well. At the very beginning only, she was in a crisis. Okay, she was in a crisis, and she was not treated well by her husband and children. Her husband and children always used to take her for granted. We all know about it. So with the help of her neighbor, Mrs. Fitzgerald, and obviously with the help of a magic spell which temporarily allows them to interchange their roles, she stands up for her rights. Now remember, Mrs. Fitzgerald, that is another most important character in this drama. She can be considered to be the catalyst. Now she actually performs that magic spell, and as a result personalities change bodies. That is a very important theme. Or what exactly happened? Interchange of personalities, or their roles had shifted. That means Mrs. Pearson, she went on behaving like Mrs. Fitzgerald, and Mrs. Fitzgerald, she went on behaving like Mrs. Pearson. Okay, and not only that, the behaviors and mannerisms of each one of them had been imbibed in the other. That means the behavior and mannerisms of Mrs. Pearson can be seen in Mrs. Fitzgerald, and the behavior and mannerisms of Mrs. Fitzgerald can be seen in case of Mrs. Pearson. Okay, and remember, it had to be done, otherwise she was getting exploited by her family members. So that was the ultimate step that was taken, and that was only possible because of the initiative taken by Mrs. Fitzgerald. Okay, just wait, I guess there is someone on the line. Yes, a very good afternoon, Tanushka. Welcome to the class.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. So yes, I am dealing with Mother's Day. some important points I am dealing with right now, and after that I will be moving on to the text. Okay, now see, the family members are shocked. Why? Because they are shocked because they haven't seen Mrs. Pearson drinking and smoking previously. So it was a big shocking moment for Doris, as well as it was a big shocking moment for Cyril Pearson also, and even it was a big shocking moment for George Pearson at the same time. So see this, Mrs. Annie Pearson's family is shocked at the change, but they learn to behave properly with her so that she gets the respect that she deserved. Okay, now this is very important. They learned to behave with her properly, and finally, though the drama started in a very negative manner, there is a tragedy all around at the very beginning of the drama, but we find there is a note of optimism, there is a hope of optimism, because we find that the drama ends on a happy note. Okay, now let us come to the summary in detail. Now at the very beginning, what exactly we get to know? We are introduced to whom? We are introduced to the two major characters. One is obviously Mrs. Annie Pearson, and another one is Mrs. Fitzgerald. Now Mrs. Annie Pearson and Mrs. Fitzgerald are next door neighbors, and I hope previously also when I started discussing about this drama, I told you all that they are next door neighbors, they are good friends also. Now apart from being neighbors, that is the only similarity. Now there is no similarity apart from that. Why? Because Annie Pearson, she is pleasant and nervous looking woman in her 40s. Fitzgerald is older and heavier with a strong personality. Now this is something very, very important. Fitzgerald is older, Fitzgerald is heavier with a strong personality. But remember, Annie Pearson, she is pleasant and she is always nervous, she is always anxious. And remember, in terms of voice, Annie Pearson, her voice was very soft, whereas Mrs. Fitzgerald, she was actually by origin an Irish by birth, okay, and her voice was deep and a bit throaty voice. That means she used to speak with a lot of intensity, and whereas Annie Pearson, her voice was very soft, very delicate one. And what more information we get to know, dear students? We get to know that Mrs. Fitzgerald, she was actually a fortune teller, and she was a specialist in tarot card reading. And what she advises Mrs. Annie Pearson, she advises Annie Pearson to become the boss in her family. And actually we all know it very well that Annie is not well treated by her family members, and her status was that of an unpaid domestic servant. I have underlined this line. I hope you all can see it. Is it clearly visible to all of you? That was actually her position. She was like an unpaid domestic servant. She was like a garbage. Okay, she was being treated like dirt and dust. Okay, she was treated like a maid servant, she was treated like a caretaker, no importance was given to her. And another important thing I like to say in this regard, that she was humiliated also, cursed and abused also. But from her perspective, she used to treat her family members with lot of love and respect, but she never used to get love and respect in return. Okay? And what she used to do in order to impress her family members, dear students, you know it by this time, she used to do all the work without even being requested for it or being thanked later on. She used to do all the work, okay, every work, without being requested, or never ever was she was told thank you. Okay, because of her work she never was being told thank you also. But in order to make her family members happy, with a smile on her face and with a pain in her heart, she used to do all the family chores, or she used to do all the family work of the family. Okay, clear up to this? Now I am moving on to the next point. Any doubt up to this, or is it clear to all of you? Up to this, is there any doubt? It is clear to all of you. Tanushka, It is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Angel, it is clear? Trisha, it is clear to all of you? Have you all understood up to this? Okay, okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let us move on then. Just a minute. Yes. So this is the second point that I like to highlight. Now Mrs. Fitzgerald is very angry. So because her best friend and neighbor, she was treated like a servant. Now this is something she can't tolerate. So what she does, one day she suggests that they should temporarily exchange their personalities, and that there lies the core concept of this drama: personalities change bodies. And because she wanted to perform a magic that she had learnt in the East, and what she does, she takes Annie's hand and speaks some magic words. A transformation takes place, and the personality of Mrs. Fitzgerald shifts into the body of Annie, and vice versa. We find there is a transformation in the personality of Mrs. Fitzgerald. Now Mrs. Fitzgerald personality gets shifted to Annie, and Annie's personality gets shifted to Mrs. Fitzgerald. Okay, now that means not only their personality, but their behavioral changes, their manners, everything, there is a great change. That means Mrs. Fitzgerald, she will behave in a very calm and docile manner, whereas Mrs. Pearson, who had imbibed the characteristic features and traits of Mrs. Fitzgerald herself, she will behave in a very rough and arrogant manner. Okay, and that was the only best possible, that was the only thing left to be done, because otherwise it would have been extremely difficult to make the family members of Mrs. Pearson realize that what exactly they are doing and how they are treating someone who is very important for their family. Now that someone is, you know whom I am referring to. I am referring to Mrs. Annie Pearson. Now obviously Annie is scared, but Mrs. Fitzgerald assures her that the change is reversible, because Mrs. Fitzgerald, she learnt it, and she told Annie that don't worry about it, this change is reversible. Obviously later our restoration of personality will take place. That was what Mrs. Fitzgerald told Annie, and that was what Mrs. Fitzgerald assured Annie Pearson. Okay, and see this line: Mrs. Fitzgerald, now in the body of Annie, stays at Annie's house and sends Annie in Mrs. Fitzgerald's body to her house where she can relax. And she told that to her that Mrs. Pearson, who was inside the body of Mrs. Fitzgerald, to come after half an hour or maybe after a few moments later. Okay, now obviously remember when Doris enters, remember the third character that we are introduced. I will be dealing with the text right now only. Just let me discuss this part. It will be easy for you all. Okay, when I will be discussing the text right now. So the third important character that we become acquainted with was none other than Doris. A beautiful girl, 20 years old, enters the house, and she gets shocked at seeing her mother smoking and playing cards. Okay, because she haven't seen her mother like this. Doris asks her mother about the yellow dress, but her mother does not respond. She asks for tea, and her mother answers rudely, telling her to iron her dress herself and make tea if she wants to do. Now obviously, because Doris, later Cyril, later George, they won't be able to know the fact that it was actually from outside she was Mrs. Pearson, but inside she was Mrs. Fitzgerald, and that was the reason that Mrs. Fitzgerald, who was inside the body of Mrs. Pearson, that was her main target, was to criticize each and every of the family members, and that was what exactly she did. Doris gets angry but gets a good scolding from her mother. Then Annie makes fun of Doris's boyfriend. As you all know about the name of the boyfriend of Doris, it is Charles Spency. Why? Because Charles Spency was termed, and here I quote, buck teeth and half-witted, for projecting teeth and being stupid. Okay, that is something that we should know. She tells Doris frankly that at her age she would have found somebody better than Charles Spency. Now even she insulted Doris. It was a part of the plan to humiliate the daughter in respect to her boyfriend. That will break the daughter a lot. That will lead to the breakdown, mental breakdown of the daughter. That was actually the target of Mrs. Fitzgerald, because Doris was really very arrogant. As I told you, Mrs. Pearson never ever scolded her son, never ever scolded her daughter. They were excessively pampered. A good example of that was the arrogant way Doris was actually having a talk with someone who was supposed to be her mother. But at that time it was Mrs. Fitzgerald, but Mrs. Fitzgerald was also of her mother's age. Okay, but she behaved in a very rude manner. That was something unthinkable and equally unfortunate. So obviously after getting scolding which she never expected, she ran out of the room and she was crying very badly. Okay, and after her exit, it was the boy Cyril Pearson who enters, and obviously just like the girl Doris Pearson, Cyril Pearson also receives a shock. Okay, what sort of a shock? Let's come to that in the text. But before that, whatever I discuss right now, I will be dealing with the text related to that part only. I hope it is visible to all of you. Page number 36. Yes, it is visible to all of you. And yesterday I told you that the magic spell was being performed and personalities, they change bodies. That means there is interchange of personalities along with manners and behaviors and everything. That means Mrs. Pearson had imbibed the manners and behavior of Mrs. Fitzgerald and vice versa. Okay, that means we find Mrs. Fitzgerald imbibed the behaviors and manners of Mrs. Pearson and ultimately went on giving a tough lesson. Okay, tit for tat we can say. To whom? To actually the other three members of the family, consisted of consisted of Doris Pearson, consisted of Cyril Pearson, and consisted of George Pearson. Okay, now this little scene should be acted very carefully. We are to assume that the personalities change bodies. After the spell has been spoken, both women still gasping hands go lax. What is the meaning of lax? I told you yesterday. They go unconscious, as if the life were out of them. So remember, it was Mrs. Fitzgerald's plan. Why? Because Mrs. Fitzgerald want to give them a taste of their own medicine. So ultimately they both come to life, but with the personality of the other. That means Mrs. Fitzgerald has imbibed the personality of Mrs. Pearson, and Mrs. Pearson has imbibed the personality of Mrs. Fitzgerald. Now, if you can understand this particular shift in their personality, then of course the dialogues will be very funny from now on. But if you don't understand this part, then the second half of the drama, despite it's very interesting, it will be very difficult for you all to follow. So please make sure you all understand up to this part. Is it clear to all of you regarding this interchange of personalities and the magic that was being performed by Mrs. Fitzgerald? Now she got inside the body of Mrs. Pearson, and Mrs. Pearson got inside the body of Mrs. Fitzgerald. So up to this, it is clear to all of you. Is there any doubt at the back of your mind? You can ask me. Is it clear to all of you? Angel, Trisha, Tanushka, is it clear to all of you? Is there any doubt at the back of your mind? Okay, fine. So let us move on then. See, it is written, Mrs. Pearson now with Mrs. Fitzgerald's personality, as you know. See what I mean, dear. Here you don't want that. It, and puts it in her mouth, puffing contentedly. Obviously, previously we find that Mrs. Fitzgerald, she used to smoke, but from now on Mrs. Pearson will smoke. Why? Because she has imbibed all the behavior and the characteristic traits that were previously was with Mrs. Fitzgerald, but now all those behavior and characteristic traits can be seen in whom? In Mrs. Pearson. Okay, now obviously Doris will come, but before that there are some important dialogues. Let us come to that. I told you that I will be skipping some lines. So see, it is written, Mrs. Fitzgerald now with Mrs. Pearson's personality looks down at herself and sees that her body has changed and gives a scream of fright. Obviously, she found out, Mrs. Fitzgerald found out that her body had changed, and obviously she is now with not her own personality. She was now with the personality of Mrs. Pearson, and obviously when that was detected, for a time being she was so shocked that she gave a scream. Okay, scream of fright, we can say. Mrs. Fitzgerald, see, oh, it's happened. Mrs. Pearson, of course it's happened. Very neat. Didn't know I had it in me. Mrs. Fitzgerald, but whatever shall I do? Mrs. Fitzgerald, George and the children can't see me like this. Now this is something very, very important. Now, despite the interchange of personalities, it seems that Mrs. Pearson, she is still concerned about her family. She was thinking that when my husband, when my son, when my daughter will come, how they will behave after seeing me in this. Now see the dialogue of Mrs. Pearson. They aren't going to, that's the point. They will have to deal with, only they won't know it. Okay, Mrs. Pearson, we know that she is with the personality of Mrs. Fitzgerald. She told that you don't have to worry, they are going to deal with me. It's better you go and take rest in my house, whereas let me deal with your family members. That was exactly what Mrs. Fitzgerald's plan was, and obviously it worked successfully. See, Mrs. Fitzgerald, but what if we can't change back? It would be terrible. Okay, now the important thing is that Mrs. Fitzgerald Mrs. Fitzgerald told Mrs. Pearson that if we can't change back, then it would be terrible. Now, in reply to that, Mrs. Pearson told Mrs. Fitzgerald that if you had to leave my life, it wouldn't be so bad. You'd have more fun as me than you have had as you. Now, this is something very, very important. Mrs. Pearson actually was Mrs. Fitzgerald. So she assured Mrs. Pearson, who was actually within Mrs. Fitzgerald, okay, that you don't have to worry, I can perform the remaining part of the magic and you will have more fun as me. I have highlighted this part. I hope it is very much clear. You will have more fun as me than you have had as you. So it will be for your advantage only. You will have more fun as me if there is no interchange. If I fail to change myself and yourself, so nothing to worry. You should not be bothered. You will have more fun as me than you had as you. Okay, you have had as you. So there is nothing to worry at all. Mrs. Fitzgerald, yes, but I don't want to be anybody else. Okay, Mrs. Pearson, look what she is saying. Stop worrying. It's easier changing back. I can do it anytime we want. Okay. Now Mrs. Pearson actually assured Mrs. Fitzgerald that it's easier changing back. I can do it anytime we want. Okay, I can do it anytime we want. There will be no problem as such. So the remaining part related with the transition or related with the magic, that restoration of the original personalities. Okay, now they are having the personalities of the other, but later there will be a restoration of their original personalities. That one, Mrs. Fitzgerald, who was inside the body of Mrs. Pearson, as you know, because of the magic being performed, she was very confident that yes, definitely that one I can easily do it. Okay, I can easily perform that magic and there will be no problem as such whatsoever. Mrs. Fitzgerald, well, do it now. Now Mrs. Pearson, not likely. I have got to deal with your family first. Okay, this is something very, very important. That was actually what Mrs. Fitzgerald wants to achieve, that let me deal with your family first. I have to deal with your family and then I will be interchanging our personalities once again. But before that, let me deal with your family. Didn't know how to begin with them. Well, I will show you. Yes, I will show you. Now Mrs. Fitzgerald, but what am I going to do? Now Mrs. if you look at their dialogues very carefully, dear students, if you look at their dialogues, you will find that there is a lot of change. Previously, when you have seen the dialogues of Mrs. Fitzgerald and Mrs. Pearson, you will notice that whenever Mrs. Pearson used to speak, whenever Mrs. Pearson uttered a dialogue, as you have read earlier, you will find that it is very calm and quiet, very polite way of speaking, and Mrs. Fitzgerald, it is very rough and tough. But now we find that there is an interchange. Now it seems that Mrs. Pearson is speaking in a very rude, arrogant, aggressive, rough and tough manner, whereas on the other hand, Mrs. Fitzgerald, who actually used to speak in that way, is speaking in a tone that was very much favorable and that was very much familiar to that of Mrs. Pearson. Okay, and so in a very polite manner, Mrs. Pearson told, "What am I going to do?" Now, but she was inside the body of Mrs. Fitzgerald. "Mrs. Pearson, go into my house for a bit." For a bit means stay there for a moment and then again you come back. There's nobody there. Then pop back and see how we are doing. You ought to enjoy it. Better get off now before one of them comes. Yes, now it is better that you get off, okay, before one of them comes. One of them means that means it can be the son, the daughter, or even the husband. So obviously now we find that there will be an entry of the third character, and that third character is none other than Doris Pearson. Okay, so up to this, Tanushka, Trisha and Angel, is there any doubt? Am I going fast or is it okay with all of you? Have you all, it is clear to all of you? Is there any doubt at the back of your mind? You can ask me. Is it clear? Angel, is it clear to you? Tanushka, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, fine. Okay, so let us move on then. See what is written. What am I going to do? That already I told you. Go into my house for a bit. There's nobody there. Then pop back means then you, what you do, then you come back once again and see how we are doing. You ought to enjoy it. Better get off now before one of them comes. So finally, Mrs. Fitzgerald, who is now inside the body of Mrs. Pearson, told the actual Mrs. Pearson, who is now trapped inside the body of Mrs. Fitzgerald, that yes, you should go right now. You come a bit later, and then obviously with your very own eyes you can see the fun. Okay, now Mrs. Fitzgerald. Yes, I suppose that's best. You are sure it will be all right? Mrs. Pearson, it will be wonderful. Now off you go, dear. Yes, it will be wonderful. Now off you go, dear. Okay, now see. That means now Mrs. Fitzgerald crosses. Mrs. Fitzgerald is actually Mrs. Pearson inside Mrs. Fitzgerald. Now what she does, she goes to the house of Mrs. Fitzgerald, and Mrs. Fitzgerald stays within the body of Mrs. Pearson, waiting for the rest of the family members to arrive, and obviously her target was to humiliate them, and that was exactly what she does. Okay, see, Mrs. Fitzgerald crosses and hurries out through the door right. Left to herself, Mrs. Pearson smokes away, lighting another cigarette. As you know, what the behavior, the manner that previously it was related with Mrs. Fitzgerald, those behaviors and those manners you will find now in case of Mrs. Pearson. Okay, behavior, mannerisms, everything. Okay, because of that magic that was being performed by Mrs. Fitzgerald. After a few moments, Doris Pearson comes bustling in left. She is a pretty girl in her early 20s who would be pleasant enough if she had not been spoiled. So we find that the entry of another character, the third character, and this character is the character of Doris Pearson. Okay, and she is a pretty girl in her early 20s, and who would be pleasant enough if she had not been spoiled. She would have been a good looking, pleasant girl. She was indeed very good looking, but she was totally spoiled. She don't know how to talk with elders. She lacked good manners. Okay, she lacked moral values, moral virtues and all these things, because from the very beginning she was excessively pampered by Mrs. Pearson, as well as the son was also excessively pampered. So Mrs. Pearson never ever scolded them, and that was the reason they turned out to be arrogant, aggressive, and not only that, they take Mrs. Pearson for granted. Okay, and now see, she is entering the house, and the first thing that she can see is that her mother is smoking, and she is totally surprised. Astounded means it was something that we can say amazed. That is the meaning of the term astounded. See, what are you doing? Mrs. Pearson now uses her ordinary voice, but her manner is not fluttering and apologetic, but cool and incisive. Mrs. Pearson, see, what do you think I am doing? Whitewashing the ceiling? Can't you see I am smoking? What you can't see? Am I whitewashing the ceiling? So see, you will find that I told you, no, as you sow, so shall you reap. Tit for tat. Okay, and then obviously a taste of their own bitter medicine. Mrs. Fitzgerald, within Mrs. Pearson, she already decided to teach them a lesson. Okay, and that is what she is doing. The way Doris was talking, the similar throw, okay, the similar tone of conversation we can find in case of Mrs. Pearson. Okay, what do you think I am doing? Whitewashing the ceiling. Can't you see what exactly I am doing? Doris, still astounded, but you are smoking. Mrs. Pearson, that's right, dear. No law against it is there. Doris, but I thought you didn't smoke. Mrs. Pearson, then you thought wrong. If you think that I didn't smoke, then obviously it's your mistake. It's your problem. I do. Doris, are we having tea in the kitchen? Have it where you like, dear. Yes, wherever you please, wherever you want, you have it. Okay, now Doris is getting very angry. Do you mean it isn't ready? Now look at the arrogance. Okay, because she is habituated to talking to her mother like this, and never ever had her mother talk with her in this manner. In this manner, that was the reason she was a bit surprised. And adding up to that, obviously she saw her mother smoking in front of her. That is also another reason. Okay, so see, do you have you see this? Are we having tea in the kitchen? Have it where you like, dear. Doris, do you mean it isn't ready? Yours isn't. I have had all I want. Might go out later and get a square meal at the Clarendon. Okay. Now what she is saying is that, okay, fine, I have already drank a cup of warm tea. If you want, you can prepare it on your own. Later in the late evening, I will be visiting a restaurant, or a restaurant, we can say Clarendon, and obviously I will be having a square meal there. Okay, so Doris is something, she can't believe what's wrong with her mother, hardly believing her ears. Who might? Okay, that means, mother, what exactly are you saying? Seriously, are you going to have a dinner at a restaurant? Mrs. Pearson, I might. Who do you think? Yes, definitely I can. Who do you think? I can't. Doris, staring at her. Mom, what's the matter with you? Why you are behaving in this way? What exactly is the matter? Could you please say to me? Doris, indignantly, it is not me that is being silly, and I must say it's a bit much when I have been working hard all day and you can't even bother to get my tea ready. Now, Doris basically, to be very honest with you all, Doris basically does no work. Only she loves dating new boyfriends, okay, and she does no work at all. Maybe probably she used to work somewhere, but that is not a very tough work, okay, and that is the reason she expresses that as if she did a lot of work, as if she had moved a mountain. She did nothing like that. Did you hear what I said about my yellow silk? That means she is ordering her mother. See, I came a long way, I worked so much hard, can't I actually get a cup of tea also? And what about my yellow silk dress? She is questioning her mother. Okay, Mrs. Pearson, no, don't you like it now? I never did. No, I haven't liked your yellow silk dress. And regarding iron, why don't you go and iron it? Why you have to wait for me every time? Of course I like it, and I am going to wear it tonight, so I want it ironed. Yes, I like it. Who told you I don't like it? Of course I like it, and definitely I want it to be ironed. Mrs. Pearson, want it ironed? What do you think it's going to do? Iron itself? Yes, you go and iron itself. Why you are thinking that I will be ironing it? Doris, no, you are going to iron it for me. You always do. Look at this line. This shows that Mrs. Pearson never ever scolded her son. Mrs. Pearson never ever scolded her daughter. Okay, see this line. No, you are going to iron it for me. you always do. That means, see, she used to do all sort of manual work or all sort of important work for them instead of asking anything in return, and that was something that that actually led us to come to the conclusion that she was failure as a mother, she was failure as a wife. Why? Because she was failure as a mother, and why? Because she was failure as a wife. The reason is that excessive love, excessive pampering her children, that ultimately led to her own downfall. Because see, look at this dialogue of Doris. You always do. You are going to iron it for me. No, I can't. If I know also, still I won't. You are going to iron it for me because you always used to do. Now see, Doris, she is totally unaware of the fact that Mrs. Fitzgerald is inside Mrs. Pearson. Look how she is behaving. Well, this time I don't. And don't talk rubbish to me about working hard. I have a good idea how much you do, Doris Pearson. I put in twice the hours you do and get no wages nor thanks for it. Why are you going to wear your yellow silk? Where are you going? Okay, now it is Mrs. Fitzgerald inside Mrs. Pearson, as I told you all. She told very calmly and very casually that I do double work, twice the work that you do. And obviously mothers in the house, they work really hard. Okay, we can't imagine how much work they do, mothers. Okay, that is the reason there is no substitute for mother in this world. Okay, there never was and there never will be. Okay, why are you going to wear your yellow silk? Where are you going? Now obviously she asked a question that where exactly are you going? Out with Charles Spencer. Oh yes, I am going out with my boyfriend Charles Spencer. Why? Doris, why? What's the matter with you? Why shouldn't I go out with Charles Spencer? Okay, see this line. If he asks me and I want to, any objections? Go on. You might as well tell me. Yes, do you have any objection? What do you think? I can't go out with Charles Spencer. Why so? Why not? Okay, and obviously we should know about this fact that she is very, very possessive about her boyfriend, very, very possessive. Okay, and that was what Mrs. Fitzgerald decided to do. She decided to actually take the best opportunity to humiliate and to say negative things about her boyfriend, so that ultimately she will be broken from inside. Her intention was to make her realize what pain and insult is all about, because that was what she used to do with her mother, never realizing how the latter used to feel like. Okay, now she will be getting a taste of her own medicine, and it will be given by Mrs. Fitzgerald. Okay, can't you find anybody better? And that was actually Mrs. Fitzgerald's plan. Okay, that she will teach every family member a lesson. I wouldn't be seen dead with Charles Spencer, buck teeth and half-witted. Haven't you find anyone better? If I would have been in your place, I would have dumped Charles Spencer. I would have been dead by now. How could you love someone like Charles Spencer? Zero intelligence, ugly looking. Now this is something that Doris won't tolerate, won't digest, and Doris became very angry. When I was your age, I would have found somebody better than Charles Spencer, or given myself up as a bad job. Yes, if I would have been at your place, I would not have created a likable relationship with Charles Spencer. I would have rejected Charles Spencer then and there only. Now this is too much for Doris, and Doris got very, very upset. See what Doris is saying, oh shut up. And after that Doris runs out. That was actually the main target of Mrs. Pearson, who actually was Mrs. Fitzgerald inside, and she chuckles and begins putting the cards together. Remember, after the exit of Cyril runs out left, this right left, these things nothing to be confused about, dear students. These are actually the stage directions, we can say. So after her departure or exit, it was Cyril Pearson, the masculine counterpart of Doris Pearson, who enters. Okay, and we will get to know later in my classes that how he was being treated by Mrs. Fitzgerald, who was inside the body of Mrs. Pearson. Okay, so up to this in this class, in my next class I will be dealing with the next part, and side by side I will be teaching the Ailing planet also. Otherwise the syllabus will stay at a particular place, only the syllabus should move also for term 2. So Ailing planet I discussed previous week. Again Ailing planet I will be discussing, and side by side important points and textual references also will be given. And regarding Mother's Day, textual references definitely will be highlighted, and the important portions from the text will be discussed, just like I had discussed today in this class. Okay, take care everyone. See you again. Have a nice day everyone. Thank you. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you everyone.